Alrighty, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Mosport baby, banger of a track. Yeah, a lot of on camber, off camber corners here. You really got to trail brake well, trust the car, trust the front end to do its job, and you can kind of steer the car on the rear as well later in the corner. But what we'll do is we'll just play through a lap, and yeah, we'll go from there. But certainly finding on these cool attempts that you can get a couple of good push laps out of the car. So don't be afraid to try and push on that second or third lap to try and generate a lap time as well. Sometimes rhythm can help and make a massive difference. But yeah, let's play this through and we'll do a review at the end of it. All right, so 1912's, a couple of little errors on that lap, but all in all, considering it was only my sixth or seventh lap all up, 11th, there you go, so including out laps, but I think it was my third hot lap, but yeah, setup feels pretty good, pretty well balanced. Definitely play around with the bias. You can see there I'm on 61.4. I can't recall off the top of my head what was the default. It was around there, it wasn't too different. But yeah, certainly it wasn't an awful lap. But yeah, let's have a bit of a, I guess, look back on what it all looks like. You definitely want to be, sorry, I'll fix this camera up. Yeah, you definitely want to be working hard on the trail brake. You sort of seem to get your braking done pretty early, most corners here, and then you clear as soon as you can. But into turn one, basically I'm using these shadows, joys of vets, I guess. The shadows aren't going to disappear, but I tend to use those as a bit of a brake marker. What does that mean? As an onboard, you can just see over the bonnet, effectively, bang, there's my brake point. Um, so decent, not really a lot of braking into here. It's more just getting the nose weight right, but about 40-50% trail in. Once you're happy with the car rotating, you want to start picking up throttle, clear that brake to take out any understeer, and then start driving the car on the rear with the throttle. So you can get a bit narrower than this. You can get on the wall, but the sooner you're in here, the tighter it is on exit. So you just want to make sure you got a nice little radius all the way in. There's that patch of bitumen there that's got a little bit of grip as well, but it's probably a bit wide, a little bit wide to be. But yeah, certainly you can get the car over this curve, help it turn, and then start picking up the throttle. So you can see I've got pretty consistent 90-odd% throttle. As soon as I'm happy with the car, rotated and straight, just snap, just get the throttle on. Obviously, this is still the slipperiest freaking bit of dirt grass in iRacing, I think. Doesn't seem to matter. You touch this and you'll be meeting the inside wall if you're not careful. So yeah, definitely want to maximize your track width there, but yeah, be very cautious. Even up here, dropping off to the last bit, it can still flare up and shoot you in the wall. So just something to be mindful of. Obviously, fourth gear all the way through turn one, sorry. And then you pop up into fifth gear, coming up here. And then a quick shift uh, third, fourth, dickhead. Again, brake marker. So go on board here. I don't really have a reference here, to be honest with you. You could probably say the light pole on the wiper is probably the brake mark, but that's just, it's kind of by feel, RPM, speed. You just don't want to brake too deep here. Excuse me. Yeah, if you're braking too deep here, you're gonna push pretty hard. So you want to get the car sort of broke moving early to get to the inside apex here. And as again, you can see it's not a big brake application. So initial pressure was up a bit there, but it's really about 20%. Trail braking all the way in there, and you want to get in as close as you can to this little lump. As you can see, the car was rotated. I'm happy with it. Clear the brake, start picking up the throttle. Again, you're holding fourth all the way through here. Nice and tight. Car's accepting throttle. Just start feeding it back in as soon as you get out here. Again, this is another one that the same shit on the exit. If you catch this, you'll be saying get out of the left-hand wall if you get it wrong. So just be mindful of it. Back on a full throttle as soon as you can. This is an interesting one. To be honest, I brake a little bit earlier here. I think a lot of people are pushing pretty hard a little bit further up. I tend to brake a little bit earlier, but not as much. And then just let the car flow a little bit more. Certainly hurts the entry, but I think it helps the mid and exit a little bit better. But again, from a brake point of view, realistically, it's for me just past that sign. Pretty much when the sign, I think you should be pushing it up, another 10 meters. But look, that's where I'm braking at the moment. So yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah, room for improvement here. Let's just say. And again, the sooner you're in here, the tighter the exit is. So you want to sort of flow the corner pretty well. But you can get in on the curb and use that to rotate as well. So fifth gear into here and then down to third for me. I haven't tried fourth yet, so try those different gears. Fourth might work. Obviously, this car is pretty torquey, so it may actually help using fourth gear. So again, it's not huge. So the initial hit's pretty big, but then you trail off. Nice amount of trail brake on the way in. Get tight on the curb, and then, like I said, start using that throttle to drive the rear. Tail is probably just a little bit wide out of here, and that probably comes back to the fact that I was probably just in a smidge early, but not much. But yeah, definitely took me just a little bit too long to get back to full throttle. Up into fourth, and then up into fifth. So you want to carry fifth up here. Now this one here, if you get it right, you can almost get through here without braking. If you lift off the throttle at the right point, it doesn't cost you too much time, and you can kind of just let the car do its job. But for me, it's a bit of a brake, basically around the shadow. What does that look like as an onboard? You can't really see the shadow, but you can. So there's a shadow there. So pretty much on it. When I just grab a little bit of brake, not a lot, and then you just want to let the car sort of roll. You can see just a smidge wide, just a smidge wide. So I just had to grab a little bit more brake in the middle again. But you want to be over that curb. So this cost me about a tenth. So you can just see it, the initial part here, I didn't quite get on the curb, so I was probably a bit deep on the brakes. And then the second bit here, yeah, you're just sort of half a car wide. Not awful, but it hurts this next section. So here is fifth gear on the brakes. So I'm a bit wider than I'd like to be, so I'm probably braking a little bit earlier than I'd like to. On the brakes here, but down to, I go to second gear. Third gear could still be the option. I just haven't tried it. I'm still stuck in Gen 2 days. We just bomb it in here and hope for the best. But yeah, like I said, a little wide, brake marker. As an onboard, I mean, you're looking at, yeah, whatever that sign is there, into that next one. So the white sign, roughly. But you shouldn't be looking over there, I guess. But yeah, that's sort of by feel into here. But yeah, like I said, just didn't quite get the line right down the hill. But anyway, I popped the gears pretty hard. So fifth, fourth, third. Again, just a touch wide, but not awful. You want to trail here all the way through. Car actually rolls, so you can see I've broken that earlier. It's not funny because I'm just rolling then, but it's not the end of the world. But ideally, you carry more speed into this part and trail a little bit further through. But the car was kind of stopped pretty well. It was turning pretty well. I didn't quite use all the exit, which isn't a big deal because again, death, you touch this and you're in the fence. But the car rotates really well here. The setup feels quite nice. So, but it was just a bit narrow. But anyway, start picking up the throttle early. It accepts that curve, the setup, but if you get too much of it, it does want to slide in the rear as it compresses off the curb. So just keep that in mind. But you probably just want to be a smidge wider and squaring this up a little bit nicer for the long straight. But yeah, you can see back on the throttle very early. Just a little bit of throttle just to turn it, and then yeah, just keep increasing that, and bang. As soon as you can, full throttle, limit your wheel spin, obviously, because it's a long straight. If you get a little bit of wheel spin, it'll cost you hundredths into a tenth down the straight if you don't get it quite right. As we roll on down, so up into here, brake marker would be right about there. So what are we using here? There's a couple of little bumps in the road. You can see the little crest at the top. I tend to brake just before it or just on it. And that's just to keep, for me, just to keep a bit of weight on the nose over that bump. I find if you see the car dip there, so if you choose to brake at that point, you're probably going to get a bit of front locking because there's no weight on the nose of the car. So I tend to just brake just a smidge before that bump, or you probably want to brake a bit deeper. It's up to you, but I just tend to brake around there. So then decent brake application, and then a nice trail on the way in. Get in nice and tight on the curb. Now there's different lines. There's definitely different lines here. I've always been someone who gets in fairly early, which does make the next bit a little bit tight. Or you can sit out a bit wider, and that next part doesn't become so bad. So, you know, you can use a couple of different lines here. Like I said, I tend to just get in a little bit early into here. Let the car, so you can see once I've sort of hit that first apex, I clear the brake, and then it's just a nice roll until I'm confident the front's turning, which is about there-ish, and I'll start looking to pick up a bit of throttle. So once you know that it's the front bites and you can feel it, you absolutely feel it. You can then start picking up the throttle and get a little bit more aggressive. So fourth gear here, and then I jump to third on the change of direction here. So assume you'll see a little blip here. Brap, there it is, third gear. A little bit of brake. And again, probably just this pretty tidy off there. You get up on this curb, doesn't hurt. So again, sort of helps the car rotate. See it there, bang, comes off. Now third gear in here as well. I don't think second will work. Get as far over as you can without touching the dirt. again, sort of get the car in and rotated. You can use that curb, but I haven't had much success with it. Come off it, it tends to want to slide the car a lot. Yeah, and then back into full throttle as early as you can. So that is a mediocre fast lap from Mosport. So yeah, definitely, it's a challenging track. It's a quick track. There's definitely going to be plenty of action, I would say. Qualifying will be critical. Um, but yeah, that's how we do it. So yeah, I'll play it through from Bar Chase and have yourselves a good one.